All right, Demizo, you got it.
All right, what's going on, nMo folks? I'm here with Nelson Rios and my man Alex Lexus, and we're doing the New Mugen Order Wrestling wrap up. And today's topic is we're gonna talk about if CM Punk is getting into Triple H and John Cena type atmosphere by holding on to the title for too long. Now, if you've been watching, CM Punk has had the title for going on 10 months now, and he's approaching that year-long title reign, and a lot of people, namely Alex Lexus, think he's had the title for too long.
Why are you trying to put me on blast? I ain't the only one. That was a private discussion, Demizo.
Well, we about to air some dirty laundry today, folks. So
bring it, son. Bring it.
I'm gonna open up the floor since Alex obviously has a lot to say about this. So go ahead, Alex. Get whatever you have off your chest, man. Go ahead.
All right, you WWE fans out there, I know a lot of you aren't big fans of John Cena. Now, Demizo and I had an extensive discussion on the faces of particular eras within the WWE. You know, for me, my first superhero iconic person looking up to in the World Wrestling Federation at the time was Hulk Hogan. Okay? Now, many of you who are familiar with how Hulkamania became the Hulkamania that we knew at his prime was because, Andre the Giant at the time was the champion, and he had a lot of injuries going on, and supposedly Hulk Hogan had a title match, and we know for a fact if Andre the Giant was healthy and he didn't have issues going on, he probably would have held on to the title and went on from there, right? But Hulk Hogan was just the young guy going up against this mammoth, Andre the Giant, for those of you who aren't familiar, is what inspired Hugo for Final Fight in Street Fighter series. And Hulk Hogan survived the odds and defeated Andre the Giant according to the storyline. Okay? Now, back then, things like that were accepted. Okay? But now you come to current day, and it looks like Vince McMahon is he's helping Cena, but also killing Cena at the same time. Whether it's like, okay, you had Cena and Brock Lesnar go at it at Extreme Rules, okay? Cena was getting his ass kicked or whatever, and somehow he miraculously pulled it off, okay? This is something that's been going on for decades in the WWE, and people are trying to crucify that man, John Cena, for being the modern-day Hulk Hogan. And I actually say that in a stretch because, no one will be Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? But it's just the same practices are occurring every now and again, and then they want to crucify this guy for holding titles for too long and so on and so forth, which brings me to CM Punk, where, let's be real, if WWE was in no holds bar type thing, he would not have the title. I'm gonna just put that out there, and that's something that Shinwar and I discussed. But CM Punk running around with the pipe bomb thing and trying to put people on blast with the microphone and everything, it's like, okay, you complained about Cena and putting other people first and so on and so forth, and now he's in that same position. He has the title now for 10 months, and because he's what's hot right now, he's trying to be like a Roddy Piper or Stone Cold Steve Austin, ringing the bells, pushing the envelope, you know what I mean? And I believe that's the only reason why he has the title right now, okay? But without going on a long rant, it's just like, how are you going to point the finger at somebody when you're doing the same shit yourself now? That's what I feel. It may not be the truth, but that's just the observation that I'm making. Okay, so I give the floor back to Demizo, and Nelson wants to chime in on it. But Demizo, your lead. That's just what I think.
I think you're totally way off base on this because, if look at when Hulkamania started. If you want to take it back, going back that far, Hulk Hogan was not a young person when he finally broke out in the WWF. And keep in mind, when Hulkamania started, this was his second tour in the WWF. He had gotten fired before for doing Rocky 3, and that was when Vince McMahon's father was in charge. And when Vince McMahon took over, he hired Hulk Hogan back. By the time Hulk Hogan got his big break in the WWF, he was 32 years old. So he had been around for a good while, but this was his first time actually being the main guy. So 32 years old is not a young guy at all. Secondly,
okay, I get what you're saying, but that's irrelevant to what we're hammering on.
Let me finish. It's like you don't want to get into the. Hang on a second.
TikTok.
How we hanging on a live broadcast?
Nah, the cat jumped on the keyboard and was messing up stuff. So that's on me. But what I was saying is like you don't want like John Cena. Here's an interesting fact. Since John Cena first won his first world title, his first heavyweight championship, there hasn't been a year where he hasn't been champion at some point. Just similar to Hulk Hogan, like Hulk Hogan was always in the title mix. They tried to build up new stars like the Ultimate Warrior and Bad News Brown and Bret Hart, and it didn't work because eventually Hulk Hogan would get the title back. Those guys
Bret
would
Hart,
have.
though. I mean, when Hogan was gone, Bret Hart pretty much carried an era until Austin came around.
As you said, Hogan had to leave for that to happen. But while Hogan was there, Bret had the title for like a month, then lost it to Yokozuna. And then Hogan immediately turned around and beat Yokozuna. So the title was constantly going back to Hulk Hogan, just like it is now. Like, title is constantly going back to John Cena. You'll have someone hold
he
it
hasn't
up
had
for
the title in a while, though. You do know, because
you know, this is the first year where John Cena has not held a heavyweight championship since he first became heavyweight champion. Like, since his first title reign. This is the actual first year where he has not had a title. And that's what, like, in the Attitude Era, the WWE realized that we can't hinge our success on one person. We need multiple guys stepping up. We need multiple big stars. We need to elevate the title. It just can't be this one guy monopolizing the title all the time. So that's why you saw Triple H. That's why you saw Mankind. That's why you saw the rise of the Undertaker.
But Triple H did pull some crap where he had the title for a gross amount of time. Right, Nelson? There was a time it was just like, yo, would the dude drop the title already? Like, come on. Like, what the fuck?
Triple H had it for
there
a
are
while.
other people out there.
I agree with that. He became one of the monopolizers of the title, just like John Cena. But I'm talking about in the Attitude Era when you had those Triple H's and Undertaker. The Attitude Era is when the Undertaker rose to prominence. Believe it or not, that was like the first time where, like, he stopped being like this big guy that was brought out for shock value, and they actually gave the Undertaker a chance to run with the ball. Rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin, rise of The Rock, Mick Foley, like a lot of people got a chance, and then that brought about Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and Batista, Randy Orton, guys like that. That's when you saw them having like decent runs with the title. But as of like 5 or 6 years ago, like all you saw mainly was John Cena. Like you'll have like say Randy Orton or Edge hold the title for like a month or two, then John Cena will get it immediately back, hold it for like 5 or 6 months, then lose it to somebody. And when John Cena lost, it was never a clean loss. it was always like, oh, the heel
So
never beat him
When
cleanly.
Cena got beat by CM Punk clean, right?
He
That
didn't
that
get
that was
beat clean. It wasn't clean. Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis came down,
they didn't
distracted.
physically get involved.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they, like, if they didn't get involved, John C would have won that match because he had the STF locked on CM Punk, and they were about to do the
mhm.
Montreal Screwjob thing, and John Cena let go of the STF, jumped out the ring, hit John Laurinaitis to prevent him from ringing a bell, then went to Vince McMahon and said, it's not going to happen like that. Got back in the ring and got GTS by
GTS.
CM Punk. So it wasn't a
Mhm.
clean win. Like, John Cena never loses cleanly. It's a, well,
Mhm.
not never, but it's a rare thing.
Well,
And
I
now,
remember The
like,
Rock,
that was
WrestleMania.
it was the first time in a long time that John Cena has lost clean.
Mhm.
And now they're trying to get back to the Attitude Era. They're trying to reestablish the importance of the title. They're trying to give different people runs with the title. They're trying to build up new stars because they can't go with John Cena forever. And they're starting to realize that. Like, that's why you see the rise of people like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. That's why you see Kane having a bigger role in things. That's why you're starting
Mhm.
to see all these new faces. That's why you're starting to see them give Dolph Ziggler a chance, finally, which I've been screaming for. So it's not all on
Well, now
CM
he
Punk.
has it. I wonder what's the delay with Dolph Ziggler. Like, they need to insert him into this title picture like soon.
Yeah, they are.
Like
Like,
really soon.
they have him in the title picture with Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio. That's what they're trying to move away from the Superman push that they've given John Cena to shine the spotlight on these new guys, because John Cena's not a young guy. He's 34 years old. And these young guys are trying to run with the ball. They're trying to build
Mhm.
up new stars. So
Mhm.
you're trying to compare John Cena to Hogan, and in the most negative way possible. He is Hogan because for that time span they just kept coming back to him as champion, and they put all
Mhm.
their eggs in one basket. So that's
Mhm.
why you see
And
CM Punk with this long title reign.
now I tell you this: you have other people like Daniel Bryan. I'd rather see him as champ right now because if he ditches that no gimmick and then go back to the yes with the title, I'm telling you, I think it generates more pop with his type of character. I rather, like I said, I rather see Bryant with the title doing the yes, yes, as opposed to CM Punk just holding on to the title just because he'll say things that other wrestlers won't say on air. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not down for the real world shock value type stuff. I want to see the entertainment back there. You know what I mean? But
But
that's
that but
just
that
my
was
opinion.
the whole allure of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He would say things that other
But
wrestlers
he's
wouldn't
not
say.
Austin. Austin was
Yeah,
he
but
took what
Austin
Roddy
had a
Piper did and then he took it to another level. Like he just went like ape shit with taking the beer truck and like he you know what I mean? Like Austin was unique. He took something that Piper laid the framework with and made it his own. CM Punk, I
yeah,
don't
but
see that.
he CM Punk is making it his own, and I'll give you he's taking a version of what someone else started. And I remember you saying this way back in the day when it first happened. Remember when uh, Sean O'Hare came out with that gimmick, that Devil's Advocate gimmick with Roddy Piper? Like, I'm only saying things that you know in your heart are true, and you loved it. And that's what CM Punk is doing. He's saying what people are thinking, and he's not
Hmm.
doing it in a Stone Cold way, but he's doing it in that Devil's Advocate way, you know? And a lot of people
But
like that.
yeah, but it's if you do the like a comparison between all the guys of his kind from yesteryear to now, to me it's almost like lukewarm. Okay, you're doing it, but because of the whole PG era limitations, it's just okay. It's never gonna be like what Austin was doing, beating Vince McMahon up in the hospital, hitting him with the bedpan and all that stuff. It's just not as entertaining as it was back in the Attitude Era. You know what I mean? I'd rather see somebody else that will entertain me. I want Daniel Bryan back in the title picture. This anger management thing is not really working for me in terms of the angle. You know, that's just, again, it's my opinion. I know you favor CM Punk, but make sure we're not favoring him in a way because that's my boy. He should have this and he should have that. I have my favorites, just like, you know, back in the day, I can go one or two people that, hey, they need to have the title because I like them. That's just not realistic, you know? I think that, like you said it yourself, CM Punk already made his mark, had his title reigns and whatnot. You got Dolph Ziggler, Bryant, and others that just need to be thrown in there. You know what I mean? Because it's not like back in the day with you know, Triple H. Well, he almost had the title for like 23 months on one stretch. I'm like, really? Really? And if he lost it, he got it right back. It's like, come on now. So, I mean, people should crucify Triple H for the same thing they crucify Cena for. And then what
Oh,
CM Punk, he's treading on this territory.
Like, there was a lot of Triple H hatred back when that was happening. Like, immense amount of Triple H hatred. But we've hogged the spotlight for too long. Let's throw it over to Nelson. See what he has to say.
Well, honestly, out of what I've gathered, all this Attitude Era and CM Punk holding the title for so long and this whole Daniel Bryan thing, I'm going based off of what I remember from when they came from like OVW and from other wrestling organizations before they even got brought to like a watered down version of what they are now. If Daniel Bryan was champion, he should remain champion for a super long time based on his track record. Same thing as CM Punk. But since the fact that they're having this whole thing where he's becoming another Triple H, where Triple H held the title for almost 2 years running, and then the same thing with John Cena, I mean, basically he is a hypocrite. He's bullshitting about other wrestlers, and all of a sudden now he's doing it because he's getting all the fame, all the money, all the T-shirts. He has his own fucking cover art for the new wrestling game that's coming out soon. I mean, like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's doing it all now. All that shit talking out the water now. It's gone. He's not doing that no more. But if something was to occur, CM Punk will be real fucking quick to do exactly what he did before he got to this point. Talk shit, bring someone down to a new low, and get what he wants. That's what I feel that CM Punk is doing. The whole Daniel Bryan thing, I think, is because of what the script is going by, is that they don't have use for him no more as the gimmick that they want him to go forth on. Because now, from what I've seen, because I don't watch wrestling as often as you two, but I'm hearing now his ex-girlfriend is the new GM of Raw now.
It's a mess, Nelson. It's a mess. So we'll go into that another day. But yeah, she is a GM of Raw and making his life
right. Exactly. So they're just running off of dumb shit right now, and especially with the episode with Kane and him going to like therapy and
the anger management. Yeah, Kane beat him up.
I am at a loss right now. It's like they have no use for a lot of wrestlers that they can put all that time and make them into actual real talent. Not trying to say anything about like how TNA has better, I guess you can say, like actual wrestling than what WWE does, which is basically a male soap opera. But hey, whatever works, it works for them. But back to this whole CM Punk thing, I think he should not have the title no more. Someone else should have a go, and CM Punk should remain at a high point, but not as a title holder. I think his time has already passed. That's just me.
And you know, just to ride on Nelson's wave, yeah, like he found the right word for it, like a hypocrite. He's the same shit. Like, yeah, you got all the hats and the endorsements and the T-shirts and all the coffee mugs and all that stuff, and now CM Punk is on the cover of WWE 13. You know what I mean? This is the same shit you got into the ring about, start bitching, complaining, like wham, 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 wham. You know what I mean? And when Cena brought him down or humbled him in that ring, whether it was scripted or not, you can see that CM Punk was affected by it, and that's why he did what he did to Jerry Lawler. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, whether it's
See,
envy or whatever. It's just,
See,
you know,
but that's the thing.
yeah, go ahead.
I don't like the direction. I don't like the direction of the current angle because see, they're trying to say like CM Punk is trying to get validation for being the best. Well, look at it this way: the WWE is the number one wrestling organization in the world, right or wrong?
Correct.
And the WWE Championship is the top belt in the WWE, right or wrong?
Correct.
But yet, you have a WWE champion who's been champion for 10 months, and an announcer cannot say that the WWE champion is the best in the world? That makes no sense to me.
That means that somebody else needs to hold on to it, because it's just, I don't know what to say. I was at a loss for words when Lawler, but then again, I agree with Lawler. To me, he's not the best in the world. He's not. I mean, there's others.
No, but
if you took the restrictions away, he would not have the title, like me and Shinwar discussed. You know,
when you're the WWE champion, you are essentially the best wrestler in the world. You're at the top of the organization. You're at the top of the number one organization in the world. So effectively, you are the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah, but that's to a point where you're only, as you just say, if within that organization. But let it be something where there's an actual non-scripted, no shitty ass soap opera type of story, actual real fight wrestling. There will be a shit ton of wrestlers that will stomp the mud hole in this motherfucker. I am sorry.
I disagree.
Like, you disagree?
I disagree.
You disagree? Oh, hell no. No.
So I'm going to stop you right there. Let CM Punk go against Brock Lesnar with no rules or just no script, and I want to see who comes out with the belt. Bottom line. As much as I hate Brock Lesnar, he will beat the shit out of CM Punk. Bottom line. Sorry. No. Punk, that's directed to you, baby. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know,
like, CM Punk would beat up a lot of wrestlers because the man is a legitimate martial artist. He's studied kickboxing, plus he's like a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so... it's not like a lot of these guys.
You know what, Nelson, I don't mean to be rude and interrupt. Nelson, I would say, as much as CM Punk is trained, there's a lot of martial art discipline that I've done since I was 6 years old, similar to CM Punk. Did, high school wrestling, did kickboxing, Salakempo, Aikido, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. With my fighting background, I could have done amateur UFC. I mean, I'm not a small guy. I mean, I could definitely go in there and hold my own. But it doesn't mean that, like, I used to say, oh, yeah, you know what, if I fight Brock Lesnar, I'll whoop his ass. Hell, if he kicked my ass at the end of that fight, he won't be the same. Bottom line. Okay? However, if you put CM Punk, who I believe, seeing how the guy fights, I'm like, okay, that looks similar. Because I've been doing it for so long, I could look, okay, he probably will get some good shots in on Lesnar, but he's not, like, if Brock really went at him, and it was like, okay, there's no technique in the world that's going to save you from that brute power. It only takes that one couple, like a shot or two. He'll smother him. The bottom line, he'll smother the shit out of him.
Alex, remember this story from a while?
Like, really?
I mean,
yeah, Alex, do you remember this story from a while back? Chris Jericho and Bill Goldberg got into a legit fight, and Chris Jericho made Bill Goldberg tap out. As big as Bill Goldberg is, he couldn't beat up Chris Jericho.
But Goldberg is not really, like, he's not, I wouldn't put him in the same category as Brock Lesnar. To be honest.
But Goldberg,
with the whole thing with Brock Lesnar losing to Goldberg, with that whole script thing or whatever. If Brock was let loose on Goldberg at WrestleMania when they fought, Goldberg would have easily. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but Goldberg is not like even on the amateur wrestling part of like a background. Like, to me, he's just a random brawler that got mad hype because of a win streak. Because he built his whole career on a win streak. And that's how he. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did like the fact that he was just decimating everyone in WCW to a certain degree, but he has no good fighting
Ryback.
background at all. So I could see honestly that Chris Jericho, that actually has a wrestling career and a wrestling background, so
And plus, he's from the dungeon. He's from
exactly,
Stu Hart's dungeon. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, they don't fuck with. Well, when Benoit was alive, Edge and Christian, Bret Hart, Owen Hart when he was alive, Jim Neidhart, Davey Boy Smith. Those guys went through the shits. You know what I mean? So of course, I agree that Jericho took it to Goldberg. So, but it's like it's just if you really look at people's background, like for instance, Alberto Del Rio. Many people don't know that guy is an established, combatant in and out of the ring. You know, the guy has a good MMA background. You know what I mean? Like, considering his character on screen, some people wouldn't think that he has that to him. But I would say that it's time for Alberto to get the title again because he's good for business. His character is cool. His repertoire in the ring is very formidable. It's fresh, you know what I mean. And then once he does his time, move on to the next. Give everybody a shot. Should be like clockwork. You know what I mean? Too many people holding on to this stuff, holding on to the title. The same guy talking shit. Oh yeah, you're the face of the company because of envy. It looks like CM Punk what Cena has in terms of the little kids looking up to him or whatever. I guess. They're polar opposites. You know what I mean? I believe that CM Punk in his own way is a John Cena, just like the anti-Cena. No. That's what I think it is.
But the thing about John Cena is that he was forced down the fans' throats, and now they're revolting because you can notice like all the adult fans don't like John Cena, yet all kids love John Cena, and that wasn't done intentionally. That was because the WWE like forced him down the fans' throats as the face of the company. They didn't allow the fans to choose John Cena as the face of the company like the fans chose.
But did we get to choose Hulk Hogan? Did we get to choose Bret Hart? Like Vince McMahon has a mentality like I know what you want, you don't know what you want type thing. You know what I mean? Paul Heyman even said that guy has. Vince won't listen to nobody. Whatever he thinks is good is what he's gonna put out there.
That is true.
And this is how Cena. Am I right, Nelson?
No,
so this is how the whole thing with Cena thing popped up. You know what I mean? Because when Cena debuted and fought Kurt Angle. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's not how it happened in the Attitude Era. And keep in mind that they try to debut The Rock the same way as this fresh baby face, this like guy who just with a third generation superstar trying to beat up everybody, and the fans weren't buying it, and he almost actually got fired.
Yeah, like, that's true.
Like, if this was the Attitude Era, John Cena would have been fired a long time ago, but the WWE put all their eggs into one basket with the John Cena part, and they couldn't afford to go away from John Cena because they had made him the face of the company. Like, they had
you do know why that happened, right? You do know why that happened. Go back to when he came out and fought Kurt Angle, right? There was a documentary when Vince McMahon was actually talking about that match. He said that he saw magic where when Cena had took on Angle and he was just like that ruthless aggression and smacked the shit out of Angle and nearly beat him. You see Angle, like, and this is before the 5-knuckle shuckle, the you can't see me, and the 5 moves of doom or whatever. You know what I mean? You also have to look at the execs and how they kind of forged Cena into what you see today. That Cena back then, actually, doing British Bulldog style power slams and, atomic drops. I'm like, man, this guy is all right. But when you are trying to fashion him a certain way so that he can meet the criteria of a brand that you're trying to push out, which is C Nation, you can't really blame Cena for that. You have to blame the higher ups. You know what I mean? Because I don't believe the wrestler should be blamed for that when it's Vince McMahon's fault.
You know how John Cena came about, like the character that John Cena is using now? It was on an episode, a Halloween episode of SmackDown, and John Cena came as Vanilla Ice. That's how
Ding, ding,
John
ding, ding.
Cena was born.
I thought it was a Mark Wahlberg thing.
No, he came as Vanilla Ice. And the WWE execs saw that, and they decided to run with the John Cena as a rapper / Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. And it originally wasn't supposed to go anywhere, but originally the fans got behind it. And then Vince McMahon took it overboard and combined with his wife running for the Senate in the PG era, they made him into this white bread, hustle, loyalty, respect, you can't see me, never back down type character. Essentially, as you said, the modern day version of Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we stand now. It's partially Vince. It has a lot to do with Vince McMahon. I agree.
It's almost all Vince's fault. If anybody's gonna blame somebody, you point the finger at Vince. You know, because my thing is Cena as a person and as a wrestler, not the person because he might make all kinds of mistakes like Edge, Adam Copeland was doing with Lita and all that. I'm not judging them for that, but I know that in terms of when I saw him wrestling Kurt Angle for the first time, I respected the man. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna, go out there and say, hey, Cena. I'm not. No, I'm just saying that the guy works hard. You know what I mean? He tried to do his thing.
I'll readily admit that I used to be a John Cena fan. I used to like him. I'm not gonna lie and say I never did. Never had it.
Did you have a green shirt, Dave?
Never bought any John Cena gear, but I did John Cena.
Did you ever do this, Dave? Did you ever do this?
Never did it. Never did it. But I'm not gonna lie and say that I wasn't a John Cena fan. But as soon as the WWE started forcing John Cena down everyone's throats, is when my feelings towards them started changing, because they stripped away everything that I liked about the character and just made him into the modern day version of Hulk Hogan. You remember when...
I agree with you 100%. Me and Shinwar were discussing this, and Nelson, I know you saw the change too, where that hardcore thugonomics when he was healing, you know what I mean? People were pulling behind it, and then you take that same character, and then you take the superhero needle and you try to inject it into that, and it's like you got a mix of what Cena was, and you got a lot of what Hulk Hogan was. You know what
that
I mean?
is true.
I don't blame Cena himself. Because I know he cares for the business, just like CM Punk loves and cares for the business. Like Edge, like Christian, like Undertaker and Triple H.
No, but there's...
the list goes
there's
on. I'm sure they... Yeah,
no, I'm about to say, not to interrupt you, but there's a huge difference where it means about carrying the business and loving the business. Another reason why John Cena got the push as much as he did, I don't know if Dave should know the most. John Cena was doing literally every fucking thing for the WWE yearly around.
Anything they told him to do,
he would do it.
Everything they told him to do, he was...
If they told him, hey, go on ESPN, he went on ESPN. Go out to Iraq to support the troops, he was there. Yo, go to this restaurant and do fucking book signing, sign 1 million books. He would just solely fucking do it. And that was another reason why he got all the shirts, all the endorsements, all the fucking continuous back-to-back title shots, because
they saw the work ethic.
He was putting in mad behind-the-scenes work, just like how Triple H did before he shagged Stephanie, and it kept going on from that point. But Triple H found it easier to make money without doing nothing, sitting on his ass, and doing wrestling at the same time. So he kind of secured his spot. John Cena had to earn his right to get in, so that's why he did all that backup dancing behind the scenes shit.
And CM Punk, back up. But CM Punk was doing the same thing with the National Guard, all that stuff that Cena had done. He was discreetly doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Even breaking character too. So this is bringing us back to this point before the timer runs out. CM Punk is trying to be what Cena worked hard to become. You know what I mean? Cena inherited a curse to a degree. You know what I mean? People, because Cena was forced in the face of a lot of people. No matter how you look at it, Cena is now synonymous with WWE, like just like Hogan was synonymous with WWF. And I don't know if CM Punk can get out of that shadow. He has to do a whole lot of butt kissing to get out of Cena's shadow. That's what I think it is come down to. So I said my piece. I'll give Nelson the floor, and then we can wrap up from there.
Yeah, but just to end off where everything was going on just as of late, in my opinion, the WWE needs to get off their ass, write something much more better than what we're seeing now. I am so used to seeing stuff that was happening during the periods of like the beginning of the first ever SmackDown episode to the year of 2006. That was like the clash of nothing but action with a little bit of story. You had the whole Kurt Angle era going down. You was winding down with the whole Stone Cold era. You're winding down with the whole Undertaker era. That you was trying to bring up Kane and everyone else. They just started shifting in and out. But I liked it. That was actually a good period for wrestling. Now you're so fucking focused on mainstream and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube channels and fucking all your shit up just to make
Don't forget talent.
Right, and you're doing all this money revenue shit, and you don't have the time to put more effort and more devotion to the actual physical wrestlers to bring a better content. The only thing you're bringing to me is what I can watch on fucking CBS 2. I don't need to watch wrestling for that shit. I really don't. I can watch any soap opera on CBS.
And one other thing, like with the soap opera and the man drama thing, that whole thing with Santino Marella and the snake thing, they need to stop that. That's fucking silly. It's stupid. Get rid of it. Make Daniel Bryan go back to Yes.
But he's the modern day Mankind, so that's the reason why he's continuing that.
Well, they need something fresh. They can't rehash what worked back then, because some of the gimmicks that worked back then don't work now because people have changed. The audience has changed.
That is true.
You know? But Demizzo, since you're leading, I'll let you wrap up from there.
Well, I've said what I've had to say, and this has been an interesting discussion, and I hope we can get into some other topics pretty soon. And for Nelson, Alex, Alexis, and myself, this has been the nMo Wrestling Wrap-Up Show, and I hope everybody out there has a good time and a good day. Go get your cookout on.